Coming to Universal Studios, a water ride unlike any other. Come swim in all the money they've made from Jurassic World. Jurassic World is the fourth entry in the Jurassic Park franchise, and it's a bit of a departure from the other ones because now the park is open and it's a lot different than what it used to be before. Gone are the days of Dr. Ian Malcolm and Sam Neill running around trying to get away from raptors. Now Chris Pratt is training them, and the park is open to thousands of people. And dinosaurs are no longer the commodity they once were. Nowadays, they're just not that unique anymore, which I don't really know if I buy. They had a lot of product placement in this movie, I'm not gonna lie, but some of it was kind of clever. They had Verizon Wireless presents something, and that was kind of cool. But this is actually Colin Trevorrow's second movie. His first movie was Safety Not Guaranteed, about the farthest thing from a big-time blockbuster you will ever see. But he pulled it off well. This was a big-time thrill ride. I can see a ride with the Raptors type thing based off of what Chris Pratt was doing. It was a cool movie. It did have its flaws, though. It was not a perfect movie, and it was nowhere near the excitement of the first movie. The first movie had a sort of aura to it. It had a feel to it that hasn't really been replicated a whole lot. It puts you in that world and you were sucked in. It was there from the beginning. And this movie, it did that, but it had a lot of cookie-cutter characters that I'll explain more in depth later. But let me start with the things I really, really liked about this movie. And one of them, and the main one I loved, is Chris Pratt. My God, this guy is a superstar. Since before Guardians of the Galaxy, I liked this guy, but he's gotten big and he can sell the role. If this role did nothing else for him, this was an Indiana Jones audition tape, and he did it well. Fantastic job, Chris Pratt. You, my friend, are a star. Now let's talk about some of the other characters in the movie. Bryce Dallas Howard was the more uppity, businesswoman who's kind of in charge of the new attractions and getting people in the seats. And I thought she sold that very well. What I didn't buy as much is when they tried to make her more of an action hero. That just didn't really work for me, and I didn't really buy it. Running around in her high heels, it just didn't seem to work for me. Now, there is an aspect in this movie that I didn't really like, and it was the villain. I thought he was the most cookie-cutter, generic villain ever, and it just did not work. Vincent D'Onofrio is a good actor. I really like him in other films. Run All Night was a movie that came out earlier this year that I really enjoyed him in. But this was just not the kind of role I'd want to see him in, and it was just generic, and I did not buy it at all. There are some other people in the movie that are worth mentioning. Jake Johnson comes in and out of the movie as this kind of control room guy. He had some good lines, but overall not a too substantial part. You might have seen it in the trailers. There's these two kids in the movie, and there's been a lot of talk about how maybe they weren't needed, maybe they weren't, essential. I liked them. I thought it worked well, and I thought that they were kind of connected to Bryce Dallas Howard in a cool way, and I thought that worked out for the movie. They're exactly the way that me and my brother were as kids, When I was 16 and he was 12 or something, he'd be all excited to go to these museums and look at the dinosaurs and look at the fossils, and I'd just be like, that chick's cute, let me go talk to her. And that's exactly what this movie showed. So I thought it was a real take. If you didn't like it, cool, but I thought it was a realistic take on things you do see at a theme park. Now, there were a lot of characters that were just kind of wasted throwaway. You're going to die, and we all know it. But I feel like with a lot of these movies, you're going to get that, so that didn't bother me too much. Overall, I had a good time with this movie. Let's not use that other G word. I had a good time with this movie, and there were times I had a great time with it. Whenever Chris Pratt was on the screen, I was fully invested. Every single time he said anything, I bought it. The words coming out of his mouth felt real and genuine, and he's just a great actor and sold this role so well. There are so many great action scenes. The Indominus Rex was insane. I loved it. And there was one scene involving the death of one dinosaur that just kind of touched me a little bit. I thought it was done really well and was kind of a turning point for a character in the movie. So overall, I'd give Jurassic World a B. That's just me. I know a lot of people loved it. I mean, clearly, everybody's seeing this movie. But, it had a lot of flaws. And now I'm going to get into those flaws, a little bit of a spoiler part of the review. My main problem with the movie, and I mentioned it, was the villain. I felt the villain was very cookie-cutter generic. Vincent D'Onofrio was a military guy who just kind of wanted to control raptors, and that's cool, but I felt he wanted to do it too much. You know, you give a villain a motivation, that's fine, but you have to make him human. He felt like you could have told him he was going to die if they did this to the raptors, and he would have been like, you know what, that's cool, my time to go. He had no humanity to him whatsoever, and here's what I think they should have done with Vincent D'Onofrio's character a little bit differently. Don't cast him as a villain. Cast him as more of a higher-up to Chris Pratt's character. Kind of a father figure, boss type thing. A little bit of the two. And, you know, he goes to him for advice, and then when things start getting out of hand with the Indominus Rex, Vincent D'Onofrio is like, maybe we should set the raptors loose. And then it causes a little bit of tension between him and Chris Pratt. They come together, and it would be this really great emotional moment when they are like, yes, we're going to do this, and then it just goes on the great badass trip that Pratt takes with these raptors. That would have been cool, that would have been awesome, and instead they just went this generic route with this character that I didn't think they needed to do. So anyways, let me know your thoughts on Jurassic World. By now you have seen it. I mean, everyone's seen this movie, and if you haven't, you're probably going to or really want to. Everyone I talked to wanted to see this, and I liked it. There are just some things I really wish didn't happen.